really come on well, and we've had instructions come through that he will be ridden positive from the gate today.
Went back to the inside last time and was sound in the Mourinho race. Better race to be closer to the speed, of course. Ran terrific in the Mackay here.
Who Shot the Barman seems to love Flemington. He's horse number 8.
Yeah, and he runs a really big race as a rule from inside barriers where he can get a soft run. He looks well. He'll still improve off of this.
He was good behind Preferment. If you're giving Preferment a chance, he must have one. The question mark, do you think he wants further than 2,000 metres now? That's the little question.
He's the mare that was runner-up in the Caulfield Cup and also runner-up in the Mackay Diva last start, number 9, Rising Romance.
She looks magnificent today. She's really come on since that terrific effort in the Mackay Diva Stakes. She's blooming.
High-class mare, terrific in the Memsey, then touch unlucky in the Group 1 Mackay Diva. Wide gates, some query, but as we've touched on, I think they roll forward.
Is there anything that Chris Waller can't do? Well, maybe this will really test him. Can he get the best out of number 10, Weary?
He'll be ridden closer to the speed here today. Can't knock his overall appearance. He certainly hasn't gone backwards since his run last week in the Underwood, where nothing really went right for him.
Yeah, I can forgive that run as well. The question mark, look, the positive is I'm glad he's being ridden more forward. I think that's important, but I think he wants a track with a bit of give.
He's a talented son of Teofilo, number 11, Amrala.
He's a terrific-looking stallion, a 6-year-old. He's big and he's strong. Just on toe as he heads out onto the track now, but he looks in great order.
I love that win in Adelaide. I thought it was terrific in the Tokyo City Cup there. He gave the track record a scare and won brilliantly. He can measure up here.
Geez, not so fashionable, this 9-year-old son of Dan Zero. You'd love to own him, Extra Zero.
He's rock hard fit, Richo. He runs well every race, whether it's a Group 1 or just an open handicap. You can't knock his appearance.
Touching $1.5 million, Extra Zero. Look, he's a veteran now, but it's the right season for it. Just shaded, of course, in the Australian Cup here, last preparation.
Here's last year's Oaks winner, number 13, Set Square.
Yeah, she is coming along really well. This run will top her off beautifully, but I do like her condition today.
Lovely return. That form well and truly franked through Abide By Me. And then big weight, second up, wide against the males. Went over the line beautifully. Good value, Hope.
Well, shades of Lucia Valentina last year with number 14, Gust of Wind.
Yeah, she looks terrific. I still feel she'll need this run, but she's coming along well. John Sargent will be wrapped with her preparation.
Lovely. Second up in the Mackay, 11.15, last 200, equal fastest with Rising Romance. Clearly suited 2,000 metres. Beat Winks in an Oaks.
Well, number 16, Royal Descent. Of course, it wouldn't be a Group 1 race without her. She's been placed in so many Group 1s, and she did it again in the George Main last start.
Looks terrific. Chris Waller's record at Flemington in the past year with horses $10 or less, 48 starters, 14 winners, and 11 place getters. They never miss.
Yeah, she was luckless in this a couple of years ago, remember, and went well in the betting. Look, beaten by a good one, a real good one, in Kermadec last time. She isn't just a wet tracker. Her most recent dry track run was a win in a Group 2 race beating Pornichet. They're actually considering having a crack. Jerry Harvey would love to have a runner in the Melbourne Cup, so they're considering that with her. They are the runners for this year's Yellowglen Turnbull Stakes. Group 1 level over 2,000 metres, your top 4. Yeah, look, great race. I'm leaning to 3 Heart. I think Set Square's tremendous value at the $19. I could certainly play her each way. Gust of Wind at 26. She's about ready as well. I think the mares will measure up here. And there's Preferment. Doesn't end there, though. Many former internationals, former Europeans in this field is our favourite. Only 4 minutes out from the running of the 2015 Turnbull Stakes. Won last year by Lucia Valentina. Chris Waller saddles up a couple of key runners, including Royal Descent. Let's hear from the master trainer. Chris, we'll go in racebook order. Preferment looks to be coming along really well for you.
Yeah, it was good to see him hit the winner's circle last start. On a track that we thought was a little bit wet for him, he ploughed through it. So that spells well towards the Melbourne campaign, and here we are. It's the first step for this leg of the journey, and hopefully it leads us through to a Melbourne Cup.
Tactics today?
Leave it up to Huey, but his normal racing patterns, midfield or a touch worse, and from that gate I'd expect that to be the case today.
Who Shot the Barman's going really well, and he's always dangerous when he gets an inside barrier draw.
Yeah, he's a horse that'll improve at Flemington too. He loves a big track, and he's won here before and run so well in the Melbourne Cup. And again on the path towards a Melbourne Cup. So today probably a little bit short for him, but his class will take him a long way.
Weary's holding his condition terrifically well.
Just had no luck with barrier draws. Today's the same. We're just going to roll forward a little bit on him today, and hopefully that'll just give him a better chance to finish off stronger.
And Royal Descent looks in magnificent order, and she looks so well weighted for her best form.
Yeah, she's up to the best milers in the country, and she's run placings in Queen Elizabeth's, and she was unlucky in this race 2 years ago. So she's in terrific form. She's ready to peak, and yeah, just an awkward gate. I guess she has to roll forward and do a little bit of work early, and hopefully Glenn can get her to switch off and be strong late.
Of the four, who's your preference for?
Preference, I guess Royal Descent. It's probably her distance, it's her race type thing, whereas the others are looking for a bit more ground, and Ware's a touch out of form.
It's good to have you back at Flemington. Good luck.
Good to be back.
Chris Waller there, Richo. Great excitement about this field, the Yellowglen Turnbull Stakes.
It is a terrific field, isn't it? Let's hear from Michael Walker, who is taking the ride on Extra Zero. He's with Sam.
Michael, Extra Zero, he deserves a big one like this.
He sure does. He's been a stalwart of the stable. He backs up week after week and always gives us best. He's an old boy now, but he just keeps running good.
Lovely and relaxed. You gave him a nice warm-up round here.
Yeah, I did. I just gave him a nice warm-up. The old legs, get him pumping. He'll be back in the run, and I'm just hoping there's enough speed for him to finish over the top, but he'll be getting up strong.
Best of luck, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Michael Walker there with Extra Zero. He's one of the few runners in the race not already a Group 1 winner. Over half the field are Group 1 winners. Can one of the ones who haven't captured a Group 1 do exactly that? Maybe like Amrala, who's our favourite. $6 each of three. Hartnell, Amrala, Royal Descent. What a tough assignment it is. A great race won by some of the stars of the sport. We spoke about it early on. Vo Rogue ×2, Superimpose, Better Loosen Up, Let's Elope, Naturalism, Sunline Northerly. Oh, take a deep breath. How good were all of those? You add in Mackay Diva, Efficient, Zipping. The list goes on of stars that have been able to win this race. Let's go to Greg Miles to call the 2015 edition of the Yellowglen Turnbull Stakes.
So who shot the Barman comes up, and Amrella is ready. Damien Oliver, twice a winner of this on Marble Halls and Sky Heights. Here's Gust of Wind coming up for Craig Williams. He rode Green Moon to win this in 2012. Next up is going to be Volkstock and Barrel. Happy Bosson to bring him into line, and the interim Hartnell has lined up into his place. They'll ride him cold today. Set Square, the Oaks winner, trots up into the line there for Luke Curry. Turnbull field nearly set. Dandino, Volkstock and Barrel come up into the barriers. Lucia Valentina won it last year. And the field is just about ready to go. Rising Romance with an awkward barrier draw to overcome. David Hayes, one victory with the great Better Loosen Up. Extra Zero to move along, so stablemates to come up. Here's Weary about to line in. They're going to have him closer to the pace if he jumps away well enough today. In he goes. Starters on the ladder, and they're nearly ready. Rising Romance is going to be the final one to come up for Damien Lane. Moved in, the Yellowglen Turnbull Stakes field, locked and ready. And they're away. And Happy Trails, one of the first to bounce out, and Magical got away well. Royal Descent from outside, and Volkstock and Barrel on the red colours, and Weary's jumped well today. He's up there, and Set Square showing a bit of speed as well. Hartner went right back, and he's last of all settling into stride. Weird now as they settle down. Volkstock and Barrel's working up, and he's taken over the running now. So Volkstock and Barrel has it. Weary trapped out on the improve, keeps going on and presses the leader looking for the front. Just in behind them, Dandino's gone on from the outside, and he's moved to third, covering a little bit of ground though. Magical down on the inside, and Set Square's in that bunch as well, settling fifth, and they're 2 lengths clear. Protects us not too far away today, within about 5 lengths of the leaders, followed then by Royal Descent. Happy Trails next to Amrella. Rising Romance the outside, 2 lengths Preferment. Back behind those horses, Gust of Wind, 2 lengths to Who Shot the Barman, and then came Extra Zero, and Hartnell at the tail end of the field, about 12 lengths from the leader. 1,000 metres to go. Weary hasn't been able to cross over, and he has the lead ahead of Volkstock and Barrel. Now he has crossed, in fact, and Volkstock and Barrel comes to his outside. Dandino stays 3 wide. Magical, Set Square. They're followed then back behind those horses to Royal Descent on the outside. Rising Romance off the track, being followed by Protectionist. Happy Trails worse in midfield on the rail. Next is Amrella as they race around the home turn. 600 to go. Who Shot the Barman's pulled to the outside, and then follows as they swing for home. Hartnell getting to the outside from Preferment Extra Zero and Gust of Wind. So Weary against the fence, led from Volkstock and Barrel. On the outside, Dandino set square looking for the run through. Down the outside, Royal Descent, followed by Happy Trails. Still Hartnell at the end of the field. They come towards the 250. Then Volkstock and Barrel ran to the lead. Set square the inside. Royal Descent coming. Dandino's there. Preferment's coming on down the outside from Amrella. It's Royal Descent just the leader from Preferment on the outside. Royal Descent grabbed by Preferment. Preferment in a bobbing go. Maybe Preferment just from Royal Descent. Set square might get third from Dandino. Extra Zero rattled home late, and then Hartnell Amrella, who shot the marm and made late ground on the outside, followed by Happy Trails. Gust of Wind. Close up behind those was Protection as Volkstock and Barrel, Weary, Rising Romance and Magical last home, and Preferment's going to win it.
Preferment wins it at $11. Huey Bowman, another Group 1 for Chris Waller. He makes it 51 and emulates what Elvstrom did back in 2004, won the Derby 1 year and come back and win the Turnbull. He might just win the Emirates Melbourne Cup. He makes it 2 wins in a row. He's in absolutely fantastic form. He wears the famous colours, the Huddy family that was made famous by Shootout. Chris Waller trains 1-2, the Oaks winner. Set square there for third. Dandino prominent as well. A host of really good runs, none better than that one.
Agree, terrific win, and the Magic Hurricane form, Frank, from yesterday into the Turnbull Stakes with Preferment. Loves Flemington, his Derby win when wide, no cover, unheard of to that sort of trip to beat them all. He did it, and he's emerged here winning the Turnbull. And great to see some 4-year-olds here, first and third here, set square back to the inside, have split up Royal Descent. Good to see some fresh blood here winning these races, Richo.
What a star this young man is. Huey Bowman is simply at the top of his game, Sam.
This is what it's all about. Huey winning the Group 1 Turnbull Stakes today on Preferment, and this horse, he dug deep last start and he did that for you again today.
Yeah, he's a genuine Group 1 performer, and you all saw him here when he's maiden in the VRC Derby last year. And look, he was an immature horse then, but with a light autumn, he did go into the Derby, but he didn't like the softer ground, but he enjoys the firm ground. He loves Flemington, obviously, and I said after he won the last start he was in for a big spring, and to come here under these conditions and win again, I just think spells big things, and he's a very exciting horse.
Key is looking at him on looks, Hugh, he's just furnished, and he is a grouse looking horse, isn't he?
He oozes presence, and walking around in closer, he's just got all the attributes you want from a emerging stayer, and like I said, I couldn't be more excited. And little cheerio to my wife and 2 girls at home in Sydney. Look forward to seeing them tonight. But it's been a wonderful weekend, and special thanks to Chris Waller and his team for their support. And it's just been a wonderful couple of days for the whole team.
Well done on the Group 1 today, Hugh. Well done.
Thank you. She's up.
Chris Waller gets Group 1 51 now. Congratulations, Chris. We've seen the geriatrics dominate the Spring Carnival down in Melbourne over the past few weeks. It's great to see some fresh blood come through.
Yeah, he's a very exciting horse, and just good to see him showing speed over 2,000 metres, not only second up last start in Sydney, but again today against probably some of the better horses around. And we know he'll get the distance of, say, 2,400 metres and beyond. So pretty special horse, very special horse.
I know that you've always had him in high regard, but has he exceeded your expectations? Being by Zabil, they can often be slow maturing types. Has he sort of burst through a bit unexpected in a way?
Well, he's certainly matured this year. Look, he was a maiden when he won the Derby, but untapped and not pushed to be there, and I think that's a big important thing. We just let him get there himself. And I know the Derby doesn't always throw up a good record in terms of going towards Melbourne Cups, but with this horse I think it's a little bit different. He was very lightly raced and got there himself, as I said.
What's the likely program between now and Melbourne Cup Day?
I don't know. I'll speak to all the people that have been there before. I can't speak to Bart Cummings, but I've spoken to him plenty of times, and he's certainly given me help along the way. But we'll be thinking about what he'll be doing, and just have a chat to the Lee Friedmans, the Lloyd Williams, and see what they can offer. Obviously a Cox Plate could start to now come into contention as well. But I don't know, it's a good problem to have.
You're such a highly successful trainer in your own right, but you clearly still tap into as many mentors as possible.
Yeah, my word, you don't stop learning in this game, and I'm still learning from my day-to-day running of a stable, and And fortunately, we race 52 weeks of the year in Australia, and that's the beauty of our sport. We can better ourselves, and when you've got so many great peoples to follow, and the likes of your John Hawkses, Gay Waterhouses, one thing you can do is learn off the best, and it's not hard when they're in your back door.
Got a great association with Hugh Bowman, who looks to have gone to a whole new level this year.
Yeah, I think he's maturing now as a jockey. He's always been fantastic, but I think our relationship probably just as importantly is maturing as well. A young trainer puts a lot of stress on their jockeys. We've got a lot of stress on it. It's how you handle it. I find the jockey like Hugh Bowman, I don't need to give him instructions. I quickly ran out just to say basically good luck. Before the race, that was the only words I said to him. I think I said to him, "Have you got it sorted?" And that was it. So I think more your burden jockeys, they're under enough pressure it is. Just let them have a free rein, but they've got to be good enough to be able to do that.
Royal Descent's run so well again. She's been just touched off by the stablemate.
Yeah, unfortunate, but her run was gallant. She was there for a long way up that long Flemington Straight, so she certainly lost no admirers, whereas Preferment, he had the drop on her and it took a while to get past her.
With so many big guns heading towards the big three races of the Melbourne Spring, Caulfield Cup, Cox Plate, Melbourne Cup, we have to sit down and sort of work out who goes where now over the next 24, 48 hours, or you still got time up your sleeve?
We don't really try and avoid horses. We just let them run in what races we think's best, and if it means 3 or 4 in one race like today, or none in next week's race, so be it. I just like to set their races, and space them 2 weeks is always ideal, but there's plenty to share around, I can tell you that, in the Flemington, or not the Flemington, the Spring Carnival in Melbourne. That's the beauty of it. Certain tracks for certain horses. We go off to Caulfield next, and then a quick trip to Moonee Valley, and the sprint races in between. It's just a fantastic carnival.
Many congratulations, Chris.
Thanks very much.
Chris Waller there, winning the Group 1 Yellowglen Turnbull Stakes with his outstanding 4-year-old Preferment.
Yeah, and Huey Bowman just chatting to Deb Capitas of found a love for racing through a famous father, one of the Ingham brothers, and gee, there's some really significant owners and great supporters of Chris Waller in this horse, including Rick Smith, who does a great job supporting the Jockeys Trust. I know he doesn't want me to talk about that, but Bruce Matheson's involved in this horse as well. Correctweight is there now, the Cook family. Well done to everyone involved. Preferment, a son of Zabil. We're not going to see many sons of Zabil racing, but he's got a beauty here in Preferment. As we have a look at the steward's vision, over 2,000 metres here at Flemington, and we'll locate how Huey was able to track his path to Group 1 glory here on Preferment. So we've let them roll here, and straight away we saw Protectionist take a bit more of a forward position. He's kicked up. There's Set Square going forward, Volkstock and Barrel as well. Weary, the grey horse, is going to go forward, as advised. Ditto for Dandino, and right in behind with the white cap, Jerry Harvey's colours, is Royal Descent.
It looked a true-ish tempo, didn't it, for a weight for age race. It was a nice, pleasing change, as Weary had to do a little bit of work early to get across and lead them, and to my eye, just waiting for those sectionals to come through. They look to run along at an okay clip there. The Dandino's run well, hasn't he? He's been posted 3 wide, no cover. The old boy, the 9-year-old, but a couple of the 4-year-olds run first and third. The winner is back off midfield in the white with the yellow cap, that's Preferment, and the third place getter is Set Square in behind them for Kieran Maher and the team in the lime green hat. She's travelling well, first time blinkers.
So we pick up the action. There's Weary ahead of Volkstock and Barrel. Dandino continues to be wide without cover. Magical, every possible chance in behind there. There's Set Square just outside Magical. There's Royal Descent just creeping into it. Bossy creeping into the race, trying to get another Group 1 with this girl. She's been placed in so many Group 1s since winning the Oaks. It's quite extraordinary, isn't it? Happy Trails back on the rails. Gust of Wind is also on the rails. Now, Rising Romance flushed out, also had a pretty torrid run, comes on the outside of Amrala. And Amrala in Lloyd Williams's colours, and then just look one further back, and there is Precedent starting to make his move.
Yeah, that's right. It's Preferment just getting to the outside. Gold hat behind it is
Preferment, not Precedent.
I was with you. Hartnell's behind him in the blue, one of the favourites, of course, as Royal Descent reaches the lead. The Set Square's in behind the Lockstock and Barrel. Just held up a touch, but she gets the run in time, back to the inside. The fuller momentum is Royal Descent, the older mare, and then Preferment late down the outside. Hartnell continues to find the line, second widest. On a day it hasn't really been been, you know, the A+ spot.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, he settled last, did Hartnell, and then came home in 34.02, but Preferment, who was in front of him, sprinted home in 33.88. Therefore, impossible for him to catch him. Extra Zero, just a beauty again, 33.99. Those on speed, like Royal Descent was closer to speed, a 34.36 last at 600 metres there. But I think you'd be happy if you were in the Hartnell camp, but yet you've only run 6th there. Just the nature of the race when you're getting back and giving that sort of a start makes it a real tough assignment.
Yeah, that's right. But that is low flying home. 45.16 the winner and 45.20 Hartnell. They're terrific. That's a terrific last 800.